Bereshit bara Elohim et ha-shamayim ve'et haaretz. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. I invite you tonight to study with me this most precious part of the Bible where our Father in heaven, who made everything, has told us what He's done in 6 days, and for each day it is precious, it is powerful, it's mind-boggling, and it's true. And there's a lot of confusion about the 6 days, and they shouldn't be. So I think part of the confusion is nobody reads the words. If you read the words, you'll be fine. You should be fine. I have a Bachelor of Science in Physics. I'm going to share with you some of my thoughts on what I see is happening in each day. So there's a little bit of a science teacher in me, and I'd like to get some of that out. So let's read the words. Now, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. To me, that is a sort of like a title to the entire book. It's the entire book of Genesis, and Genesis keeps going. You know, Genesis ends with Joseph, and Joseph goes to Egypt, and Egypt they multiply, and then Moses comes, and just the book keeps going. There's a flow of the holy books. The holy books. It's not just one book, but this seems to be the sort of like title of the whole Bible, because I don't know, it's like the earth is still being molded, the people on the earth are still being molded. It's really not over yet. He's still working. I believe He's still working in the 6th day right now. So let's take a look. Okay? Verse 2. And the earth was void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. So the earth was void and without form. Okay? So it's empty. The earth that we know of is not there yet. That's another way of saying this. There's nothing there. Void. Empty. Nada. Nothing there. Without form. There's no form. It isn't round. It isn't square. It isn't flaky. It's nothing. It's not there. The earth is not there yet. Right here in this part. And it has no light. Darkness is upon the face of the deep. There's no light. It's dark. It's empty. There's nothing. Okay? Nothing. Now creation is going to start, and the Spirit of God moves upon the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. Vayomer Elohim yehi or, vayehi or. Now, in order for there to be light, now here's where the physics comes in. There has to be, well, we observe light coming from atoms when electrons have different levels, and when an electron goes from an upper level to a lower level, it emits a photon, and the photon comes out in a wave form, it's called an electromagnetic wave. Light has many colors, and those colors are in a certain, well, they all have different wavelengths, and there are longer wavelengths and shorter wavelengths, and there are electromagnetic waves that you can't see, but they're there. There's lots of ways. Every time an electron moves, you create this electromagnetic wave. So, to me, when God said, "Let there be light," He created the atom with all of its properties in order for it to do that. That's what He was doing. I mean, the only thing He really does on the first day is create this light. But in order to create the light, He's got to create the atoms. And I believe that part where it says, "The Spirit of God moves upon the face of the waters." Don't forget, there is nothing there. The waters are there because God is moving upon them, and He's creating the waters. And I see those waters not as water as we know it, but just, I think that these are just a sea of atoms. His Spirit is moving around in the emptiness, and He's spitting out atoms all over the place. That empty void, the empty universe, is getting filled with atoms, simple atoms. But there's such a miracle in the atom. It's unbelievable. Because, like we say, the electron has this negative charge that repels another negative charge and gets attracted to a positive charge, and the positive charge is inside the nucleus of the atom. So the nucleus of the atom is got the mass, most of the mass, and it's the electron likes to form in different layers, different layers. It likes one layer, and then it goes to another layer, and then it emits that light. That photon comes out. Pop! The photon comes out. The light comes out. But it stays in that next layer. It's like it stays there, and it doesn't go anywhere. It stays in that layer, and then it could go down another one. It could go up another one. It could go up and down. But you know what? It's attracted to the proton, the positive charge. So you say, well, why doesn't it just keep going and hit the positive charge? Miracle, miracle, wonder, marvel. This is something that we don't understand. Nobody understands why. We see it happen, but we don't understand why. I mean, how? Lots of things we don't understand. Well, you have, in the atom, let's say you have a a helium atom, where there's two positive protons in the nucleus, and two electrons around the shell. Not just one, but two. Hydrogen has one proton, one electron. Ooh, but it's only one. And it's very unstable, hydrogen, because it's all sort of like, wants to be like helium with two in the center and two on the outside. It likes that. Another marvel, another mystery, but it's part of the complexity of how everything works. So, it's a wonder how you have two protons in the center, and positive charges repel each other. But meantime, they're not moving, they stay together. What's holding them together? Wow, marvel, marvel, wonder, wonder, miracle, miracle. What's holding them together? A super glue. A super glue? Well, where did that, it's like He speaks and these things happen. He's all power. He's almighty. He's powerful. And when, E is equal to mc squared, and you think about all of the energy that you need in order to make a mass, to make that little piece of mass, you need a lot of energy. That's where you got the atomic bomb. All that energy comes from atoms splitting up. The force and the power of his word. The force and the power of his word. Now, we're talking about very, 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 an atom is so small, but there are so many of them. So many of them. That it boggles your mind. Marvel, how many of them? Millions, billions. So he did a lot. I mean, making the light, he did a lot of work on that first day, making that light. Now, there's light, there's two kinds of light. There's spiritual light and there's physical light. I'm talking about the atoms. That's a physical light. I really believe that he made a physical light, and his nature is light as well. He is made of spirit. Now he's coming from the spirit, and he's going into our physical world. He's creating a physical with mass and physical light, electromagnetic waves, photons, brilliance. He's got his spiritual light, and he's creating a physical light. He's creating man. Eventually he's going to create man in his own image. Verse 4, and God saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. So you say, well, how does he do that? How does he divide the light from the darkness? Well, it's similar to, I think it's similar to our, Earth turning. It's facing the sun, and then it turns away from the sun, and we have a day, we see light, and then there's a night, and we see dark. I think that's what he's doing here as well. The darkness he calls night, and it has a little bit of the terminology of a twist to it. So he twists away from the light. The night is a twist away from the day. And the evening and the morning were the first day. So a lot went on in that first day. That's not nothing. A lot went on. Now, verse 6, and God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. Now here, I believe that he's starting to create molecules from the atoms. Molecules. Water is an atom of oxygen and 2 atoms of hydrogen. They call what they call a dipole format. Electrically balanced, but because the 2 hydrogens are sort of like on one side of the oxygen, it's almost like it's more negative on one side than it is on the other side. And that's what gives water that electrical property that it has, electrolysis, and that miracle, that wisdom, and as putting water together the way he did. Because, it says that wisdom was there when he founded the earth. So, this is all done with a lot of thinking in mind. Water is such a, when you think about it, different than any other liquid, solid, or gas. It's different than all of them. And it has this property of, this particular property is dividing the waters from the waters, okay? He has water vapor, okay? Water becomes a vapor, becomes a gas, and it rises. It rises away from the water, and it goes up, and then it goes up into the sky, and then it condenses into little drops of water again. It becomes water again, liquid water again. See? So he's divided the waters from the waters. He has this firmament in between them, dividing them. And that firmament is what we know as our sky or atmosphere. It's our atmosphere. If you look at the word firmament, it has to do with like layers, like pounding. It's got like layers built into the meaning of the firmament. And so if you study the atmosphere has layers of different mixtures of gas, air, of the air. It changes. It's layered, spheres. Okay? And in verse 7, and God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. So now in this firmament you have, like I said, we now have oxygen, we have nitrogen, carbon dioxide. We have all of the things that are in the air right now are now being put together to form this, make this ability for the clouds to be up there, and the waters, liquid waters. They're more than atoms right now. Now they're waters, as we know them. The atoms are combining with other atoms and causing all this to happen. And he calls the firmament heaven. Now, so we ever hear the expression of the third heaven? I think Paul said I was caught up into the third heaven. What does he mean by that? Well, I think it's the first heaven is from the ground to the clouds, and then you have from the clouds above to the stars. That's the second heaven. And then there's the heaven where God himself lives. There's the heaven where the Spirit of God and his angels, and right now Jesus is there. That's the third heaven. That's the place where God lives. It's spirit. It's not physical like the first heaven and the second heaven. It's spiritual. God is spirit. Remember that. He's different. He's not made with atoms. We are made of atoms. Lots and lots and lots of atoms. We're physical. And the evening and the morning were the second day. Again, a lot happened on that second day. 9, verse 9. And God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry. Now land is in italics. So the word land is not there. And let the dry appear. And it was so. This is another miracle in the sense that now he's creating this dry. Okay, he's creating the dry. He's creating the sand, the earth, the rocks, the dirt, the clay, the soil. He's creating what we call earth. The stuff that we touch. We're not the stuff that gets us wet. The stuff that we touch and we can say dry with. So a lot is going on there. Okay, he just keeps taking these atoms and making different things with them, combining them different ways. He's a chemist, a genius. Infinite intelligence, infinite wisdom, infinite. It doesn't end. We have a finite mind. We can only think so much. We can only do so much. We can think so much. He can do anything. And he does. He does do anything. And he calls the dry earth. And gathering together of the waters he calls seas. And God saw that it was good. Verse 11, and God said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth. And it was so. Now here's another miracle. Now this is the first form of life. Miracle, miracle, wonder, marvel. Life is very, very different than non-life, than death. Matter. Matter, it doesn't have life. Matter is just an atom, and atom doesn't have life. It's a miracle, it's a wonder, it's marvel, but it doesn't breathe. It doesn't have life. Okay? It tends to go from order into disorder. It tends to decay. Life goes from decay to order, to the marvel that it is. He has the herb yielding seed so that the plant can multiply. Miracle, marvelous, marvel. The plant multiplies. There's so many things going on here. God is just pounding miracle after miracle after miracle. He's just really creating marvel for us. He's doing it for us. The earth brings forth grass, verse 12, an herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed is in itself after his kind. And God sees that it is good. And the evening and the morning are the third day. So now at this point in time, there still isn't a sun that comes up. There still aren't any stars. Clouds are there. And the light is there. Light coming from wherever it's coming from, in this mist of seas out in the universe is flooded with the waters of atoms that he made, that have the electrons that are going up and down and giving the light that he made on the first day, and that light is coming to the earth. And now there is an earth. So right now, there it is, the earth. There's no animal yet. There's no bug, there's no insect. The third day is just grass, trees, flowers, fruit trees good for the sight, trees, plants that reproduce, that keep the seed falls to the ground and it grows just like the tree that it came from. And then there's another one, and another one, and another one. And the earth is getting plush with all of the vegetation all over it. The earth now has a form. It's now, I believe now, this earth is round, just like it is now. It's the size that it is now. Gravity. Another miracle, marvel. Gravity. I mean, well, how did that get there? How did you get a mass pulling another mass? How does that happen? I mean, how come the rock stays on the surface of the earth and doesn't just fly? I mean, why doesn't it fly? It doesn't fly because it's being pulled down by gravity. Now, but you can't see gravity. What is it? That's a marvel. Nobody really, I mean, everybody can say, oh, it's a gravitational constant, you know, It has pull on other mass. One mass pulls another mass. But that's about all. Like, all we could do is observe what it is. I mean, we can't figure it out. It's there. It's a miracle. And if it wasn't for gravity, the whole place would be different. A totally different story. So you have the force that holds the atom together, and the protons are in there, and they're repelling each other. But meantime, it's there anyway. And the electron is coming down from different in layers, and it has the bottom. When it's at the bottom layer, it doesn't keep going. And it's not gravity that pulls it there. The gravity is not the thing that's holding it, keeping it there. There's nothing there. You see? The whole thing is done in a miracle. It's just no other way to say it. There's no other way to say it. We are in the midst of such an amazing creation. It just boggles my mind. Okay, let's keep going. Now we're up to 14. God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth." And it was so. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. Oh, by the way, He made the stars also. He makes the stars. He made is in italics. All it really says there is the stars also. The stars also. The stars. Oh, God, another one. Another miracle. Marvel. Wonder. I mean, when you think of how huge they are, how far they are, how complex, how awesome. We're living in a day where we have this Hubble telescope and go up there and see them even better than the telescopes can. It's just again boggles your mind how big these things are, how far they are, how bright they must be, and how many there are. There are probably more stars in the universe than there are sand pebbles on the entire earth. And in each sand pebble, in each little sand piece, there are probably more atoms than any of it. So, I mean, He spoke. Could you try to get a grip on how powerful His voice is, how powerful His words are, how intelligent His wisdom is? To do all of this out of nothing. Remember, there was nothing. And verse 19, and the evening and the morning were the fourth day. 20, and God said, "Let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that has life, the fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of the heaven." And God created great whales and every living creature that moves, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And God saw that it was good. So, on the fifth day, He's now creating all the fish in the sea, and the fowl and the birds that fly. Miracle, marvel, wonder. There it is again. The fish in the sea. Oh, it's like wow. First is just the sea, empty with maybe seaweed in it, lots of seaweed in it, because the plants are all over the place. There's plants all around, but not one living thing yet. Now here it is. Fish, different, much different than the plants. And the birds, much different. Again, living creatures. Oh, and all that's involved in how they live. Wow. First there's no fish, then there's plenty of fish. First there's no birds, then there are birds. 22. And God blessed them, saying, Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let fowl multiply in the earth. 23. And the evening and the morning were the 5th day. 24. And God said, Let the earth bring forth living creature after his kind, cattle, and creeping thing, and beast of the earth after his kind. And it was so. And God made the beast of the earth after his kind, the cattle after their kind, and everything that creeps upon the earth after his kind. And God saw that it is good. So now here we have miracle, because it's a miracle. I mean, the cattle is different than the fish. Okay, much different than the fish. The cattle is eating the grass upon the ground. Like I said, I mean, we take too much for granted. This creation that we're a part of, so impressive, and we take it for granted. We take it for granted. Now, verse 26 is probably the most dear to us, the verse that's most dear to us. God said, Let us make man in our image. You notice it's let us make man in our image. And that's the way it reads in Hebrew. Because God is Father and Son and Holy Spirit. He's three in one. In one. He's one God. I mean, he's united one God. But he has a Father image, he's got a Son image, and he's got a Spirit image. And we are being created in his image, in their image. Okay? And things like, I mean, what when you say God's image? God has eyes. God has eyes. And he created man to have eyes, to see. He speaks, and he created man to speak. Everything about God, his hands, he's got hands, arms. He moves with legs and feet. He runs, and he is a marvel. The thing different about him, though, is that he always was, and he is now, and he always will be. He's spirit, and he's in infinity. And we are physical, and we're in time. Space, time, atoms. So we're different. But we are being molded out of the earth, and we're being molded into his image. And his image is more than just eyes and ears and a mouth. His image also is love. God is love. God is forgiveness. God loves us. He's a father. He's a helper. He is, of everything that he's made, he cares about us the most. He cares what happens in our lives. This, again, is another marvel and a miracle. As David said, when I consider the heavens, the stars and the sun and the moon, who is man that thou art mindful of us? We're so small. Well, I mean, look at how small we are compared to this great earth. And the great earth is sitting there in a solar system, and the solar system is sitting in a galaxy of Milky Way galaxy, and the Milky Way galaxy is just one of many, 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 many billions. Who is man that he is mindful of us? Verse 26, very, very dear, very, very important, very special, very special. And let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, over the cattle, over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth. 27, so God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. And God blessed them and said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, over every living thing that moves upon the earth. And God said, behold, I have given you every herb-bearing seed which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in which the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat. And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creeps upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every herb for meat. And it was so. And God saw that everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day. Genesis 2:1. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the seventh day God ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all the work which he had made. And God blessed the seventh day, and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which God created and made. Okay, 4. These are the generations of the heavens and the earth when they were created, in the day that the Lord God made the heaven and the earth and the heavens. All right. Now, what I want to propose to you is that this seventh day that he rests, I believe that hasn't come yet, as far as we're concerned. I believe that we are still in the sixth day, and that there is this difference between eternity, where God lives, where time is infinite past, infinite future, and we're living in time where we're living in finite time. They really don't mix. In other words, a day compared to eternity is really nothing. A day compared to eternity cannot really be compared. It's nothing. It's like one compared to infinity. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't matter whether it's one, whether it's 100, whether it's 1,000, whether it's 1,000,000, whether it's 1,000,000,000, whether it's 1,000,000,000,000. As long as it's a number that stops, it cannot compare to infinity. To infinity, they all look the same, like nothing. That's why you can't really mix God's world with our world. Our world is finite. We have time. We have days. We have years. We have so many years, and that's it. That's not the way it is with God. God is forever. He always was. He always will be. He's in a different world. And he's stepped out of his world to make our world. And he's telling you that, basically he's telling you right here, as far as he already did it. He already did it. It's hard for us to know that because we still have future to go. And we haven't seen what he's already saw and done. We haven't rested with him. We're going to rest with him in the seventh day. And we're not there yet. But he's already done it, in a sense. It's like hard to understand, but that's how I see this. And anyway, because he has worked 6 days, he rests on the seventh day. He wants us to do the same thing. That's part of his law that he gave, which, the law is good. And that's what we're being made in his image, and that's the way he does things. Okay? So we honor that work 6 days and rest on the seventh. But like I said, as far as we're concerned, the seventh day of God hasn't really happened yet. Because you notice here, let's go back. So far, in chapter 2, he's starting to create, he hasn't created Adam yet. In chapter 2, he starts telling you, he gives you the details about his creation with Adam. Okay? But in chapter 1, he says, verse 27, he said, so God created man in his own image, as if it was done. And he's talking about the sixth day now of his work. His work is on the sixth day. He created man in his own image. Male and female created he them. Wait a minute, we didn't even get to Adam yet, and he's male and female, he's creating male and female already. You see how this is sort of like a summary of his 6-day creation. He's summarizing the whole thing of what he's done, and as far as we're concerned, what he will do on the 6th day, and what he will do on the 7th day. We are still in the 6th day. We're in sort of like almost the end of it right now. It's sort of like ready to, the sunset is ready to hit, and we're ready to start the 7th day soon. The 7th day begins in the evening. Like I said, that's how I see this. And so, you remember how Adam lived about 6,000 years ago. And I believe that we're very, very close to the end of time as we know it. I think that Jesus is coming back soon, and the millennium, the 1,000 years, is going to be a rest with us, a time of rest with us. And there's going to be eternal, because we are born again in his image, and we are of his seed, and we become everlasting as the way he is. We are going to be just like him. He doesn't die, and we don't die. And that hasn't, our bodies haven't changed yet into that form. But we will. That was his promise. That's what we believe as Christians. We believe what he told us. So anyway, the 6,000 years is almost over from the time he made Adam. So in my line of thinking, if he made Adam, say, at noontime on his 6th day of creation, then you can take every hour as 1,000 years. So it's almost getting ready to be 6 p.m. End of the evening is about to come. The 7th day evening is about to begin. And we are in the last 1,000 years. We're in the last hour. We're in the 6th hour. like I said, each hour is as 1,000 years. So that means that the 24 hours represents 24,000 years. So I believe that each of God's days, each of his creation days, have a clock. Just like we have clocks, and a certain time for the 6th day is the same as the time as the 5th day, the same as the time for the 4th day, and so on. Just like we have our week. Every day is the same amount of time. And so each day, each of his creation days, in the physical world, because he is working in this physical world, he is working in this universe, he is working upon our earth, he is working within us, and we are in time and space and in the physical world with the atoms, and I believe that they each last 24,000 years. When he said in verse 28, and God blessed them and said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. Those were the same exact words he said to Noah. He said, I want you to be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. So he's given, again, this is a summary of all of his work that he has worked in the 6th day. And Noah was 5,000 years ago, and he said that to Noah, but it's part of what he said in his 6th day creation. That's why it doesn't make sense that he's saying this here, and he hasn't really even talked about how he's creating Adam yet, because this is a summary of what he's done on the 6th day from his perspective. And the lion is going to lay down with the lamb. Okay? The lion is going to lay down with the lamb. Now how? What? That doesn't... Because lions, right now, lions will eat lambs. That's part of what... That's their meat. That's their meat. A lamb is what they eat. The lamb eats the grass. The lion eats the lamb. And that's not going to happen. That's going to change. That's going to change. And you see here it says, 29, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in which the fruit of the... And it shall be to you for meat, and to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creeps upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat. And it was so. So you see there, all of the lions are now going to be given these green herbs to eat. That's why he's laying down with the lamb, because he's got his food in a different way now. It's going to be so beautiful that even the ugly part about the lion eating the lamb is not going to happen anymore. We aren't going to eat meat anymore. We're going to have the herbs. Everything is going to be absolutely beautiful. So, in other words, verse 29 and verse 30 hasn't really happened yet, but it will. And you see how what I'm saying makes sense in verse 31. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the 6th day. I mean, God makes man on the 6th day, and it says he made the male and female. I mean, you think he made Adam on the 6th day, and then he made Eve on the 6th day too? On the same day? Yeah, actually he did. But he made us all on that 6th day. And it took thousands of years to make us all. there's going to be the latter part of the day, the very, very end of the day, the part where the lion is with the lamb, the part where Yeshua is on the earth with us, Jesus is with us, and he's going to look at it and he's going to say, God saw everything that he made, and behold, it was very good. Now, this is the first time he used the word very good. He always would say, on all the other days, it was good. This is very good. Now, man is sinful. There's Battle of Armageddon. That isn't very good. Battle of Armageddon. That the people of the earth, the people that he loved, the people that he created, are against him. That's very good? That's not good. That isn't very good. But that battle gets finished, and his people are like him, and we're in harmony with him, and he loves us and we love him. And we are in our perfected bodies. We are just like him. We're in our spiritual bodies. He's spirit. We're now away from the atoms. We're out of the atoms. We're in the spirit. And it's very, very good. The sin isn't there anymore. Just the love. Just love. The royal law of love. Love him. Love your neighbor. Just love. There isn't any more hate. There isn't any more fighting. There isn't any more sin. There isn't any more disobedience. I mean, you don't have to turn your head when the lion attacks the zebra anymore, because they're all going to eat herbs. So anyway, I'm saying to myself, you know, as far as the age of the earth, when they say that the age of the earth is millions and millions of years old, that takes my 24,000 day creation for each day. It doesn't really fit with the way they think. I never really believed them as far as the age of the earth, but it really got to me about when they say how stars are millions and millions and millions of light years away. And so if a star is millions and millions of light years away, and he's making the stars on the fourth day, to me that's, you know, the way I'm thinking. So 72,000 years ago, I think the fourth day begins. The stars aren't even made yet, you know, are just being made then. To me, they really can't be older than that. I wondered, I said, how did they come up with the fact that millions and millions of light years away? And you know what? They don't. The only distances that they're sure of, that they can measure, and they measure it with this satellite that's going out around the Earth called Hipparcos. It's a satellite going around the Earth, able to measure. Its function is to measure the distances of the stars using this parallax method, which is really the only way we can for sure know the distance of a star. That's the only way. And it can only measure the stars that are 3,000 light years away. That's it, 3,000 light years away. After that, they can't measure it no more. So when they tell you 58 million years, they have no way of knowing really for sure about that. So as far as I'm concerned, until you can show me proof, until you can measure it, until you can show me something concrete than your guesswork, I don't agree with it. I don't have to agree with it. I don't have to throw out my theory because of your theory. So anyway, a really good guess of how old of how far away the oldest stars must be, you know, the furthest stars. First of all, they're all created at the same time. I think they all are about 72,000 years, maybe, because we're made in His image. So if we have a 12-hour day, which we work, and we work 6. In other words, if we had a fourth day, and we have to make the stars and the two great lights, one to rule the day and the other one to rule the night. We have to make the sun and the moon, in other words. And we have to make all the stars. You know what? We would never be able to do it. But they're out there. And He made them. And look, the moon's out there. And look at the earth from a distance. It stands upon nothing. Just like the prophet said. It's all a marvel, it's all a mystery, it's all a wonder. And it's all for us. It's all made for us.